Hello, welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to take a look at this Sharp cassette recorder, and it's a model RT-20 from the early 1980s. Quite a complicated looking beastie, and it's got a so-called computer controlled multi-display. Quite a lot of features and buttons on here, so I thought I'd take a few minutes just to take a closer look, see what the buttons do. We'll also remove the lid, have a quick look at the internals, see what makes it tick, and maybe have a little listen as well. So as I say, it's the RT-20. In terms of dimensions, it's about 39 centimeters long, 12.5 centimeters high and 20 centimeters deep. And it weighs in at just over 3.5 kilos, so just under 7 pounds. So not a terribly heavy unit, but it still feels like it's well made. It certainly looks nice and crisp and a good fit and finish to the whole unit. It was made in Japan, as is often emblazoned proudly with the sticker in the corner just there. It's also emblazoned with quite a few stickers to say metal, because not only does it play type 1 normal and the chrome type 2 tapes, it also has the high bias facility as well for metal, and you'll see that actually on the button. We'll come to that in a little while. Also, metal is repeated on the casing just there, and if that weren't enough, even got a sticker on the cassette door. So we'll just switch it on. And so we've just powered it on at the wall now, and it is now in standby mode. You can see the clock is flashing because we haven't set that yet. Also, you might get a bit of VFD flash in there as well. That's not to do with the display itself, that's just the shutter speed on the camera. So we'll just actually power it on. And now you can see, and in fact I'm going to turn one of the lights off because this is going to be quite good fun. We'll have a look at the controls themselves, and I'll just zoom in to the display. And you can see there's quite a lot going on here. So we've got a clock which we can actually set hours, minutes and what have you. Also we've got an alarm clock on there. There's a little thing to tell you, little icon to say there's an alarm, and we can set the alarm for that as well, which is pretty nice. And then you've got a counter for when we actually play the tape, it counts through so it can remember where you're at, and you can reset that accordingly via the buttons on the side. We've also got a time, you can count up and down on the time remaining as well, and you can enter into here whether it's a 46-minute tape, a 60 or a 90. And just to zoom you back out, those are all controlled by the buttons on the side just there. I have to say that it's well laid out. The actual controls are quite nice. You've got your lines between, so you know what refers to each of them. Yeah, all very nice overall, to be fair. And if you want the alarm to actually be set, just press the alarm there. You've got an LED to tell you that it's on, and then that activates the alarm process. So in terms of the actual unit then, we've got a headphone socket on the front, which is always handy, and then the controls for the tape deck are stop, eject, play, record, rewind, fast forward and pause. A very nice slow release on this as well, very quiet. Look at that, lovely. So we'll put the tape in, just press play, and now we can see, hopefully we can see the bars there, the input gain for left and right channels with the little Dolby logo on there, and we can see the whole thing sort of peeking out with your left and right marked on there with your -13, -8, -3, 0 and +3 dB per channel. So as I say, we'll stop this now, rewind and fast forward. Very nice. And does that work with the counter? Yep, there's your counter working. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And fast forward. Nice, and you can reset that at any point, I believe, as a memory. So that's pretty cool. Alright then, so Dolby is activated by the button just here. And again, we've got a massive Dolby logo in the top to know whether it's on or off. There's your type 1 and type 2. And also you've got the metal type 4 as well once you're in the high bias position. Metal is marked there relating of course, as I say, to the fact that it does the high bias. So with your inputs, you've got microphones left and right on the front. You've also got a rear mounted DIN as well, a 5-pin DIN, and there's a switch on the back. We'll take a quick look at that in a moment, and that tells you can set the input level for the line level, or indeed for the mic level on the front. And then your left and right recording controls, your input gain are on the right hand side just there. So that's that, and if we spin it round, as I say, we've got the switch for input level there, mic, DIN or line. There is your 5-pin record playback DIN. Line in and line out, of course, for your amplifier, EQ, that kind of thing. What's also really cool on this one is not only have you got the switchable line voltage just there, so this particular one could be used in multi-regions, but also, rather conveniently, you've got a 50 and 60 hertz switch just there as well. So that's really nice. So that takes into account any issues that you've got with multi-region frequency or anything like that. So that's the external. Let's take a look inside. And to do that, what we're going to do is unscrew the two on the side there, 2 screws on that side, and that little screw on the back. Back in a moment. So we've unplugged the unit now. We'll take a very quick look inside. You've got the mains power transformer, of course, just down in here. There's your variable voltage selector and the assorted secondaries off of this daughter board down here. Mechanical power switch, of course, you can see just working there. And then from there we've got the main amplifier board, power board, what have you, all in here. And we've got the microprocessor for all of the display, the screen, and all that goes with that computer side of things. You can actually see the back of the VFD display just there. And this, of course, is the daughter board for all of the controls for the panel that activates all the necessary times, alarms, clocks, counters, all that kind of thing are on there. So in terms of the mech, it's simple, but it's not simple. Insofar as we can see the belts, we've got one just on here, which is, I think, probably the auto stop belt. There's a main flat drive belt as well down in there. I think there's your counter belt, it's just there actually. So that's that one. And there is indeed a Hall sensor on there, which is probably related to the actual electronic output. You can see the magnet on the counter pickup on there. So yeah, there's a counter belt just there, auto stop belt, and then a flat main drive belt. In terms of the actual motor speed adjustment, you can actually change that. You can tweak that just by affecting the variable resistor on the back of the motor just there. Changing the belts, it shouldn't be too difficult. The actual mechanism itself, some of these belts can be changed by removing the back plate, or they would have to remove some of the associated wiring looms here just to get the access for that. And the mechanism itself looks like it's retained by a couple of screws just on the top, and not a lot else, I don't think. So that's not too bad, all in the scheme of things. This particular one doesn't need new belts at the moment. It's running really nice, not any wow and flutter to worry about or anything like that, so we're pretty good. The only thing that's strange that I'd like to sort of point out on this is the sheer length of the record play bar. So the switch for play and record is quite an interesting little beastie on this one. You can see that the record switch, if I just gently press record, you may see just down in there there's a actuator, and it's linked by a piece of wire that runs all the way from there, all the way through the back of the cassette, down through there, right into this massive long play record bar switch just there. So yeah, quite an interesting big linkage on that. But there we go. Right, that's the inside of the RT-20. Let's put it back together, have a quick listen. So that's a quick look at the RT-20 from Sharp. Thanks very much indeed for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back with more soon. I'll see you then. In the meantime, stay safe and all the best for now. Bye bye.